Hi everyone, Julie here. Today I am here with Kareem from School of Yalla.
Hala.
Hi.
Hala.
He is also a language teacher, so he is teaching Arabic, but he speaks Arabic, English, French, and Spanish.
Learning, a little bit.
He speaks them. I
Intermediate.
heard him. He speaks them.
Intermediate.
And I teach French right now, and so we have conversations about our job to teach languages, and we thought it could be a cool and interesting conversation to record for you guys to listen to if whether you're a teacher or a student. Maybe it's interesting insight from teachers. So
Yep.
the first thing I wanted to discuss was what is your main challenge as a teacher right now in 2022 teaching languages? What's your main challenge?
I mean, there's a lot more things I enjoy rather than challenges. Most of the challenges have to do with again the myths of Arabic. So when it comes to Arabic, people either and you can always kind of categorize the different language learners, but to make it kind of to simplify it, let's talk about people that want to learn Arabic. They have a specific goal. They want to learn Arabic. The challenge for me is trying to show them that it's possible. And a lot of times students come in and they're like, it's so difficult, or they get stressed out after a couple of weeks of, language learning takes time. It's not something that can develop overnight or a few weeks or a few months. You will learn things, but to really be confident with it and start having fun takes a bit of time. So the biggest challenge is kind of me trying to convince students that, hey, this should be a fun journey. Don't set like hard goals for yourself. Set goals for sure, make them realistic, but don't get too discouraged if in a month you're like, no, I'm not speaking fluently with my local friend or whatever, I think that's one of the biggest challenges, and I'm slowly getting better at convincing beginner students at that. What about you?
So it kind of touches the same topic. So my biggest challenge, and we've talked about this before, is students who start, whether they already knew a bit of French, a few years back, or who start from scratch, have very unrealistic expectations that they're going to be fluent after a couple of weeks or even a month, because on social media and this fast-paced society we're living in, everything is like easy. It's always the magic solution, to lose weight, to become fit, to do this, and people have very unrealistic. And I know some of the students from the very first lessons, I know they're going to quit.
Really?
Because they ask, so basically I'm going to be fluent in what, like, not a week, but and like, so how can I get fluent fast, or things like that? And I know they're going to quit. And the other ones who from the beginning, like I swear I have students, the very first lessons, they're like, right, so I saw your profile, your videos, I want to teach with you until I'm fluent, so like maybe for the next 2 or 3 years. And I'm like, whoa, we don't need that long. But they have a much more realistic expectation, and they actually go through with it. So that's something I struggle with as a teacher, is to like convince the students that it's not realistic.
What about and one thing I was going to touch on is kind of getting people in a routine for studying. Do you feel like different students kind of have better grasp than others? Do you feel like some people need more guidance when it comes to studying outside of class?
Yeah, definitely. So I give like homework to everyone, and depending on like some people, I know they're not going to do the homework. They're not. So I set like very low expectations for them, and like very easy things to do, like 5 minutes a day. And others, I know there are actually, they have the time, they have the motivation, so I do set like harder homework. And the stuff they like, I just got Jennifer, if you see this, I just yesterday got the stories that one of my students wrote in French. They're amazing. Like she had a writing exercise about anything, whatever she wanted. They're amazing. Like the work that they do, it's incredible. But yeah, I do have to adapt the homework.
Adapting I think, especially if you're doing one-on-one. But yeah, group class is a little bit different. Group classes.
Yeah, that's tricky. That's very tricky.
Yeah, because everybody learns a different, has a different pace. Different pace. Everybody has different routine, different levels of motivation.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm trying to not streamlined, but to kind of get everybody on the same page with, hey, with Arabic or with any language really, there needs to be some sort of routine where you're doing a little bit every day, or at least a specific, you're investing a bit of time per week. I can't just show up to class once a week and expect things to improve.
Yeah.
You know?
But I think something, so I used to teach English to Colombian, well, mainly Colombians, but Spanish speakers. And the deal was that I would send them homework every day. And a lot of them said, having this daily message on Telegram with the homework was a good motivation. It was easy, because the exercises are made. You just have to fill in the blanks or whatever.
Accountability too.
And and it's like daily. They had the answers within, so whether they did it or not, I didn't know, right? But they said that having this daily reminder to do your homework. So I did implement that with some of my students. I just sent them like during the weekend, like, hey, friendly reminder to practice the passé composé today. But yeah, I find that it's a tricky thing to deal with groups and adapt and create that routine for everyone.
Yeah,
it's very difficult.
I feel like once you get a few success stories of people that managed, through your program, through your teaching, that managed to become successful, or you can see like before and after, then that motivates a lot of students. And I've had that in my program.
And don't you feel also like personally, it builds my confidence as a teacher as well?
100%.
Like I have a student, she started in August. So 8 months ago now, and she knew no French at all. And now all our lessons are 45-minute long conversations.
Wow.
In French,
like
yeah, and I'm not dumbing it down. Like I do speak a bit more slowlier, but I don't dumb it down. Like I speak normal French, and she's so impressive. I have another student. She's maybe in her 50s or something, and she had huge confidence issues, and now she's like, she struggled a lot with the r sound in French, and now she's slowly, like we worked on it in a very relaxed and
very
nice way. And now her pronunciation is amazing. And like that first, it motivates me to keep teaching, but also it builds my confidence that
100%.
I know what I'm doing, and like
your thing is working, your method's working, and for sure 100%. So I guess that's one of the good things, the things you enjoy.
That's the next topic, like next things we love. And for me it's that, like, helping them build the confidence. I love that, like seeing the even on like a 1 hour kind of trial lesson or something. At the beginning there was like, right, so I'm really nervous, like I speak only a little bit of French and it's terrible, and I used to study like 20 years ago and I forgot all these very negative things. And I'm like, all right, look, I learn languages, I make a complete ass of myself every single day trying to speak Arabic. So I feel I'm never gonna judge you, make fun of you. Like, this is a speech I do to, if my students listen to this, they'll recognize the speech. I'm never gonna judge you or call my friend after and say, hey Kareem, I have this student, he said this, and like, never, because I have so much compassion. And so, and they slowly start to relax, and like, and I love seeing by the end of the 1 hour lesson how they're like super confident,
and
they make
happy,
jokes, and they speak great French. They actually, when they forget about all the nerves and the judgment and everything, they actually speak really good French. So how about you? What do you love the most about your job, or like one thing that you love a lot?
I'll also agree. I'll start with, just to piggyback off of that, I 100% agree with that. It's so nice when you see that it sounds so cheesy to say this, but you're making someone's life better through something as simple as like teaching a language. Like, at the end of the day, language learning is a skill too.
It's
like,
a life skill, to speak is,
So I look at my students, so many of them, like I'm proud of like everybody to see the people that stuck with the program over a year. And like where they were and where they how they progressed over the months and years. It's really fulfilling to me too, like as a coach, as a language teacher. So I enjoy that part very much. And then just building a community, like now there's like you're building something really cool that's global. I have students in Norway, some like Germany, Netherlands, the US, Australia, like all over the world. And it's something like, to me, it's like, wow, this is crazy.
And it's cool because it's like around something so beautiful, language learning.
100%.
Like, I don't want to put any kind of judgment on the other niches, professions, but like, to have a community around something such as cool and beautiful as languages, I think is so much better than community around like for me personally, around like fitness or stuff like that. Like something that can be a little bit superficial sometimes. Like language learning, I find, well, I'm super biased, but like I don't know. I think it's such a beautiful
It
thing.
depends.
It's
Yeah, I
so
think
cool.
one big thing, yeah, brings people together, right? If you're able to
Mhm.
speak someone else's native language, automatically, builds that trust, and it's really cool. Like you hear someone speaking your native language, they're not from where you are. I think something really cool.
Oh yeah, here like in Jordan, even the first time I was here, I didn't learn Arabic, but I knew like marhaba, kifak. I would say kifak to everyone because I didn't know the ek difference.
Yeah.
So I would say kifak to everyone and kif halek to everyone. Like
Oh,
I
yeah?
didn't know, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, but even then, people are really friendly here. Like that's a rule. But they were even more friendly when they saw like, and they would always ask, "Oh, do you speak Arabic? You're learning Arabic?" I was like, "No, like nothing."
Shway.
But
Easy,
even
go
just
easy on me.
this, like they were so like, "Oh, it's so cool. Let me teach you something." Or
Yeah.
like, so yeah, I think learning languages really connects people.
Yeah.
And as teachers, we have the opportunity to be part of that learning journey, and I think that's
100%.
so cool.
Yeah,
Like I love that.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah,
And look at this, like I met Julie. Julie was following my Instagram account,
yeah.
and like, I like the content, blah blah. And then I realized she's a teacher. And then I got to Jordan yesterday. She was in Amman, so we decided to meet up and film. So like, without languages, I don't think things like this would happen.
Mhm.
So I think this is something also really cool
Definitely.
about what we do.
Yeah. Okay, so the last question, what's your dream as a teacher, like professional dream for you or for the teaching industry? Like, I don't know.
I think one thing that I've, since day one aimed at is building like a standardized way of teaching spoken Arabic. Conversation Arabic has always been it's there, but so many people, Arabic in general, people are like, oh, it's challenging, it's difficult, it's confusing. And yes, a lot of that stuff is true. But part of it is because there wasn't a kind of a structured and organized way to teach spoken and conversational Arabic.
Absolutely.
So I'm trying to kind of change that, build something very cool with my dialect, Palestinian and Jordanian, which falls under Levantine dialect. But then, inshallah, and real inshallah, this
مش إن شاء الله
real
100%.
100%. Inshallah 100%. If my students are watching this, like that's my tagline, like 100% all the time. Like I use 100%.
Me too. Like mine
like,
is مش إن شاء الله 100%, but with an angry face.
إنه لازم. Yeah, my goal if inshallah this is successful, I have to say inshallah, you have to, then start expanding to different dialects, maybe the Egyptian dialect, maybe, but I have to make this work, prove the concept, and then hopefully just replicate it across different dialects.
Yeah.
That's my vision.
That's cool. Yeah.
What about you?
Well, mine is a bit different because obviously French teaching is pretty standardized already. Mine is more to make language learning more accessible. So on the one hand, I'm learning a lot of languages to be able to teach in those languages. So, Arabic, I'm learning Farsi, Urdu. Next year, I want to start Swahili. Like,
mashallah.
mashallah. To be able to teach French and English or even Spanish in those languages, because I find that, as we mentioned, it is very important to speak languages, not just for the human connection, but also for practical reasons. Like, if you come from a country where especially women don't have as many opportunities as men, speaking English or French or both can really help you, to find jobs or get education. So it's a really important thing in that way too. And I would like to make it more accessible for people, around the world to have quality language education.
Cool. Yeah.
That's not like, $1,000 a month or something, because maybe people in the West could afford something expensive, but people in other countries might not. So that's my dream,
very
to
nice.
make languages more accessible.
Very nice.
So yeah,
I like that.
Yeah,
like that.
Cool. So should we get to work then to get those dreams?
Let's get those, make those dreams come true.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining the conversation about teaching languages.
Thank you for having me.
I could talk about this all day.
I think.
Same.
Yeah,
we need to stop the video
we need
now.
to get back to work. Huh?
All right. So we'll see you very soon. So I think this will be the first video, and then in a few days the video about Arabic myth.
خلاص تمام.
Yeah?
Yeah, stay tuned for that.
All
That's a
right.
cool one.
And give us your channel name and
Sure.
yeah.
So yeah, check out School of Yalla on Instagram at School of Yalla, YALLA. Yeah,
And you're on
daily
YouTube
content.
as well?
YouTube as well. Yeah, YouTube
Yeah.
channel. Yeah,
Yeah.
check it out.
And if you're interested in learning Arabic, you really need to check out his content because it's really, really useful.
Thank you.
Like, I'm not saying that because he's sitting here. I've mentioned him before on my channel.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
So yeah, de rien.
Cheers.
À bientôt. Ciao.